Okay, we can review. This week we only had one lecture. We covered two topics. We went back and covered the shortcut if for the immediate if. So there's a condition, and if true, it executes this piece. Otherwise, it executes this piece. Usually you find these statements when the display depends on conditions. You can use it anywhere, but remember, as the lecture stated, use it with caution, okay? Because it's not syntax we're used to seeing, so it can make the code difficult to read if we overuse it. Afterward, we went and covered a few Boolean expressions, and my main point here, or my main concern here, is I want students to understand the truth tables. Once you understand the truth tables, you can use them to your advantage. So I'm not going to go over them, but understanding the AND logical operator helps you set up conditional expressions with Boolean expressions, and it eliminates the guessing from your coding, from your programming. The same thing goes for the OR and for the NOT. So that's why we went over some examples, just to hopefully give you an understanding of how you can use this to your advantage. After we did this, and we covered some examples, we went over the while loop. Let me see here. And then we went over the for loop and the do while. And I think that's where we ended the lecture. So next week we'll continue with the for ranged loop, and we will see how we can iterate a string with a regular for loop or traditional for loop. We will also see how we can iterate a string using the for range. So the for range is what you saw, is the loop you saw in Python when you were using list, where you could say like for item in items, do something for each item as it iterates through the sequence. We'll see how to iterate a string. After we cover the for range, we are going into deep dive into functions, and it'll take a few lectures. It is important that this is understood by students. We'll talk about void functions, functions that do not return a value, value return functions, and we'll take a deep dive into function parameters. And one thing we will certainly do is we will now, from now on, we will see how our code is in memory. So we will diagram code in memory, and that'll give students a better understanding of what happens when you are programming. So we will focus on the stack and the heap, and the stack has activation records, and we will go into this activation record piece, which will help you understand how parameters work when you are using them in functions. So that'll be in the next class. Okay, you will have a quiz over the looping structure, so please make sure that you understand the looping structures. For readings, make sure that you at least spend some time trying to read the material, because this will help you prepare for the lecture. And once I'm lecturing, I'm looking for the content here, and once I'm lecturing, at least you more or less have an idea of where I'm coming from. Because if you don't read, then it becomes difficult for you to maybe piece everything together. Let me look at the readings here. Okay, so if you have the Gaddis book starting out with C++, 10th or 9th edition, then read the chapter on functions. That's chapter 6. If you have the free book, that I have posted here in chapter 9 for functions. Please review this. It'll make it a lot easier for you. The homework for the if statements is due on Sunday. So that, like I said, it shouldn't be difficult. I will post the solutions for homework 2 tomorrow. And let me see, what else do I need to cover? I think that's it. I do encourage you to turn in assignments. If you've not turned in assignments, then please turn them in. If you forgot to turn in the assignment, please turn it in. You'll be doing yourself a favor. Okay, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next week.